It's no secret, I'm a Flash game fan. They're simple to play, highly addictive, and when you complete one, you can move on to another one without feeling too bad. Even people with ADD can play most Flash games through on one run before losing interest. Some of my favorite types of games are like Earn to Die, where you have a main object that you must upgrade to move as far as possible. In this case, you play as a guy who needs to drive to a helicopter to escape. What else? Zombies. The chopper is a little over 3,000 feet, and you have treacherous terrain, boxes, and of course the occasional zombie barring your way. So what do? You run it all over. You start out with a cheap piece of crap car that can't go very fast and doesn't have much fuel. Do a few runs with that and you'll slowly start increasing your cash. Cash is naturally the method to upgrading your vehicle. Each of the 3 vehicles have several upgrades available. You have wheels, transmissions, engines, fuel capacity, boost capacity, and a gun. The wheels, transmission, and engine are especially important because that's the main driving force to go farther. The fuel is used to do the obvious: accelerate. Run out of fuel, and the vehicle will eventually stop, ending that day's run. Boost does the same thing, but it's especially useful on hills to accelerate and not use up precious fuel. The gun fires automatically at the zombies, eliminating one roadblock at a time. The fuel tank, boost, and gun can all be upgraded bit by bit, as each upgrade used in them will increase the max capacity. My only complaint about the upgrades is about the gun. You don't get a choice when to fire it, as it will automatically shoot zombies when they come onto the screen. It's helpful, but about halfway to the helicopter you meet larger zombies, and it would have been nice to be able to choose one to fire at them. That way, you can save the ammo in the beginning and instead use it on the larger, more bulky creatures. I mentioned you get 3 vehicles, and each one is better than the last. The second vehicle is a truck, and it has much more capability than a car. Big Rig is even better, although I can't understand how the hell it accelerates so fast and gets all that air. Oh well, that's the beauty of games, I suppose. The other problem with the upgrade system and the cars is that you can't swap the upgrades from one vehicle to the next. So if you have the truck fully pimped out and you buy the Big Rig, you need to start the upgrades from scratch. This usually isn't a problem, as you still need the best vehicle to complete the game, and even without any customization, it can still net you some pretty nice cash. In fact, let me delve on the cash a bit. Basically, every zombie you kill gets you money. Occasionally, you'll score a special kill reward. This reward can only be retrieved once, but it's always a nice boost of change. The distance you get also nets you money. In a nutshell, the further you go, the more money you get. This reminds me of another minor problem that plagues this game. The placement of the zombies is set in stone. They aren't randomly placed. This means once you get to know where a zombie is at, they aren't moving. It's not a huge issue, but you start to learn the ways to bypass them so you don't lose so much speed, like just ramping over them. In fact, all of the obstacles are that way. The rocks are in the same places, which is pretty obvious. Makes sense. So you know when to give the vehicle a bit more gas to keep it going. The boxes, which can be extremely frustrating, are also set in one place, so you eventually learn to give yourself a bit of speed to blast through them. You can occasionally get caught on the boxes, and if you sit still for a few seconds, the day ends, regardless of whether you have fuel left in the tank or not. So now that I covered all the basics, how is this game actually played? It's simple really. You drive out as far as possible. You can use the up arrow key to accelerate using gas, but remember that you have a limited supply of fuel, so coasting is a must, especially in the beginning of the game. When you stop or get stuck, the day ends, and you push your car back to the starting point. You don't actually see the driver pushing the vehicle back, which is slightly disappointing. Who wouldn't want to see some tiny guy pushing the rig 2,500 feet back to the starting point to refuel? And why do you have to start over? Why not just start from where he's at? The parts come out of nowhere anyway, so you can probably procure them from the beginning. And there's not a ton of zombies running around. Surely you can walk the last couple hundred feet. Anyway, that's your typical day. You then upgrade with whatever cash you obtained, and then try again. The only other complaint I have is the fact that the game practically shows the iPad and iPhone app down your throat. Every 10 attempts or so, it pops up an ad for the app for the Mac market. It advertises more vehicles and a different terrain. I don't have an iPhone or an iPad, nor do I want one. So keep your damn apps to yourself, damn it. So what is my verdict on this game? Well, it's a pretty good little Flash game. The graphics are easily comparable to a SNES or a GBA game. The controls are pathetically easy to learn. Finally, the game is just simply addictive, as you want to see what actually happens when you reach the chopper. I'll admit, I chuckled a bit at the end, but it may set up for a future game. Anyone that likes these sorts of flash games should definitely give it a shot. It only took me about 45 minutes or so to complete it, but I could probably do it faster on the second attempt. Overall though, it's a good, solid game. Final score? 8 out of 10. This is Reaper. Happy fragging.